Good Monday morning. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Today is indeed a first alert weather day as we have all the snow that we're expecting for mountain passes up to around a foot, if not a little bit more than that. Avalanche danger going to be considerable over the next couple days, but for lower elevations, once we get past today and tomorrow, should end up being a beautiful week, maybe even a little bit of fall spring in the air. Okay, current temperatures out there, we're looking at 30s and 40s for lower elevations. It's mostly in the 30s for mountains, although we are seeing some 40s down in the blues. First alert radar is showing you persistent snowfall in the Cascades, and there is just some light rainfall right now that's moving through the Tri-Cities, but those roadways probably going to be a little bit wet. All right, here's your umbrella cast for this Monday for the Tri-Cities. About almost a 50-50 chance of rainfall through about 2 p.m., 3 p.m. But as we head into the afternoon, late afternoon into the evening, that's when rain chances go way up there. So for today, it's going to be wet. It's going to be gray. It's going to be mild. Temperatures getting into the 40s and 50s for lower elevations. And we will have a lot more to say about the snow up in the mountains and that avalanche danger over the next couple days. That's coming up on Good Morning Northwest, which starts right now. Also coming up on Good Morning Northwest, a Kennewick city leader admits he knew about a controversial housing plan but didn't go public. Now, why one councilman says the public may have waited too long for answers and what could happen next. The details straight ahead. Plus, graphic dash cam video shows a deadly encounter near Moses Lake. Now the shooting is under review. Coming up, what led to 5 deputies firing their weapons and what's next in the investigation. And passengers on Ben Franklin Transit could notice something new on buses this morning. DFT is rolling out contracted security, and this morning we'll break down how they plan to keep riders and drivers safe. It's all coming up on Good Morning Northwest, which starts right now.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good Morning Northwest on your side.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for Good Morning Northwest. It is February 23rd. There is a lot of news to get to this morning. Beginning this morning by following up in Kennewick, where concerns continue to rise over a residence for level 3 registered sex offenders set to open a residential neighborhood. Last week, Kennewick City Councilman John Trumbo surprised residents after saying that he believed he knew for months that a home for level 3 registered sex offenders was set to open at 8th and Edison. Now the councilman sits down with Apple Valley News Now's Caleb Stipkovitz to clarify the timeline of when he learned of the home.
This city councilman learned about this proposed idea months ago. And I learned about it in a setting that prevented me from going public. I could not talk about it. There's something called an executive session.
This is what Councilman John Trumbo said at Tuesday's City Council meeting, a statement he's hoping to now clarify.
I thought it was at an executive session. Just for the record, it wasn't at an executive session. It was in December during a small group meeting with the city manager.
The councilman says the meeting happened on December 11th, about a week after the sale of the home got approved. He says it also included former Mayor Gretel Crawford, but he can't remember if anyone else joined. And it's unclear when other members of the current city council first learned of the home. Councilman Trumbo says that although the issue deeply troubled him, he didn't directly tell anyone about the less restrictive alternative home, as he says he believes the city explored ways to prevent it from opening in a residential zone.
I am concerned now, not blaming anyone, that by the circumstances that were occurring, that we may have waited more than a month before we got a press release out.
The city of Kennewick says it had a statement ready just before Christmas, but chose to release it after the holiday season in January. In reflection, Councilman Trumbo says he hopes to share some answers the city received from the state on the LRA home, as there is a bigger fight that lies ahead for the city.
Some of that needs to be shared with the public, and if no other way, I would recommend that we at least put some of that out there in a form on the website or press release or something.
We reached out to the city to learn more about the meeting that Councilman Trumbo referenced. We will let you know when we learn more. Caleb Stipkovitz, Apple Valley News Now.
Now, a council member at last week's meeting pitched the idea of holding an informational workshop as well, and that idea is set to be discussed at a later date. Continuing our coverage now, the Grant County Sheriff's Office has released dash cam video of a deadly police shooting near Moses Lake. We do want to warn you that the video is graphic. Deputies say they responded last Monday to Road L9 Northeast, just outside Moses Lake city limits. That's where a man connected to an investigation was found inside a small barn, and he's been identified as 33-year-old Aaron J. Ahmed. In the edited video, the man is seen coming out holding what appears to be a long object as Officer Shao commands. Investigators say the man pointed a rifle at deputies, and 5 Grant County deputies then opened fire. The man died at the scene.
Hands up!
He's got the rifle in his hand still.
Throw it out, Aaron.
Aaron, drop it! Drop it! Aaron, drop
Put the gun down! Put it down!
Officials say no officers with the Moses Lake Police Department fired their weapons. The shooting is now under investigation by the Central Basin Investigative Team and Ellensburg PD. Turning now to Your Voice, Your Vote, the February special election is officially certified. In Benton County, the auditor says they wrapped up just last week. She also adds that all of the levies for Benton County's February election passed, saying they were just over 30%, which is similar to previous special election seasons. Up next for the Benton County Election Center is preparing for the April special election.
So typically the spring elections are things such as school levies or bonds. We understand that perhaps there are a couple of school districts that are considering putting on levies for the April election. And we would need to have those resolutions from the districts no later than next Friday.
So far, the auditor says there's a possibility for the Patterson and Kiona Benton City school districts to add a measure to the April special election ballot. And this morning, we now know what was so suspicious about a local ballot that triggered a police response. Authorities say suspicious ballot envelope found at the Benton County Election Center has been tested, and it did not contain anything dangerous. The envelope was sent to an independent forensic lab, which determined it contained household trash and documents unrelated to the election. The incident happened February 10th when staff reported the ballot felt unusually heavy. Deputies and the Richland Police Bomb Squad responded as a precaution. The Sheriff's Office says the investigation is ongoing. And looking ahead today, new security measures are coming to buses and transit centers across the Tri-Cities as Ben Franklin Transit rolls out contracted security officers starting today. Apple Valley News Now's Dan Hansen says this move is aimed at improving safety for both riders and employees.
Ben Franklin Transit passengers will notice something new at transit centers and on buses: security officers. BFT Board Chair Stephen Bauman says the move is about safety for both riders and drivers.
Our goal and plan is not to have people, see the security as a law enforcement personnel, but as security that is there for their best interest.
Bauman says officers are trained in de-escalation and are there to prevent problems while keeping everyone around them safe. But some were surprised at how quickly the change came. Teamsters Local 839 Treasurer Russell Shervin says the union has been asking for security at transit centers for years.
Because our members, our fixed route operators get assaulted regularly, cussed out, spit on, people threaten them all the time.
Shervin says drivers often face unpredictable encounters, especially on busy or late-night routes. He says he's hopeful the new security presence will make a difference.
People who are thinking about threatening a member or thinking about assaulting a member, just the presence of armed security will keep that from happening.
Bauman says the deployment is part of a 3-phase plan. First, adding security at BFT's main offices, then at transit centers, and finally on buses. After last week's meeting where drivers spoke out on behalf of a colleague who was threatened on the job, Bauman says combining phases 2 and 3 move forward more quickly.
We definitely need to feel safe and be safe in our communities, and so that's definitely something that we take very seriously is the safety of the public that we serve and the employees that that we have at Ben Franklin Transit.
The goal, BFT says, is to improve confidence in the system while keeping buses and transit centers welcoming and safe for everyone who uses them. Dan Hansen, Apple Valley News Now.
And Ben Franklin Transit says security officers will begin patrols today and encourages riders and staff to share feedback as the program gets underway. All right, coming up on Good Morning Northwest, tax season could look very different this year, especially if you work in service or earn overtime. Coming up in this morning's Consumer Reports, we'll see how new deductions and tips, overtime, and even American-made car purchases could lower your tax bill. The details ahead. And now you're taking a live look at Kennewick. This view coming courtesy of our very own Apple Valley News Now First Alert weather app. On the other side of the break, we'll talk about that considerable avalanche danger that we have up in the mountains over the next couple days. Come on back.
Depression and anxiety can feel like a heavy, suffocating weight pulling you down. But there is hope. Neurostim TMS can help you regain your life. No medications, no drug-related side effects, just a proven solution covered by insurance. Our FDA-approved, non-invasive transcranial magnetic stimulation therapy targets the source of your symptoms. Neurostim works when medications fail and is the Northwest's leader in TMS, with over 250,000 successful treatments delivered. There is hope. Call today for a free consultation.
Clear out clutter and help build homes right here in the Tri-Cities. Tri-County Partners Habitat for Humanity is hosting our Fill a Truck event at the Richland Habitat Store on March 13th and 14th from 11 to 4 p.m. Donate gently used furniture, appliances, building materials, home goods, and more. Every item sold at the Habitat Store helps fund affordable homes for local families, plus free French fries and local vendors at the event. Let's fill the truck. Your donations build homes.
Visit Cle Elum anytime for spectacular views, fantastic food, and shopping unlike anywhere else. Let's talk with some local businesses. This is the heart of Cle Elum.
It's that sense of community, I would say, that really drives us. It's why we want to live here. It's what we love the most about being here. An absolute adventure. Every single day is different.
It's a really beautiful small town with mountains and everything you ever want to do or adventure. And there's lots of snowmobiling in the winter, lots of hiking, kayaking.
Every single corner of the globe, that they all end up in Cle Elum for one reason or another, whether it's to enjoy the outdoors, to enjoy the small town feel. There are a lot of great restaurants, a few wineries, a lot of great bars. There's a lot to do and see here. Cheers to Cle Elum.
Learn more at centralwashingtonoutdoor.com. Experiencing the outdoors is in our nature.
A new head coach and a new attitude, but it's still the most exciting game in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh my!
Seattle Kraken Hockey.
That's hockey, baby!
Seattle Kraken Hockey, sponsored by Legends Casino Hotel.
It's Idol Hollywood Week, Music City Takeover.
You ready to rock?
Will your favorite viral sensation survive Idol's biggest elimination?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
American Idol, new tonight on ABC.
This newscast sponsored by Multicare Yakima Memorial Hospital. Excellence you can trust.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. We have considerable avalanche danger for today and tomorrow for our mountain ranges. So let's go ahead and talk about it. And these forecasts are coming. Well, first here are road conditions. Traction tires are required this morning for White Pass. See all of our mountain passes, especially up in the Cascades, seeing some sort of impact. But now we talk about the avalanche danger that we'll have for both today and tomorrow for our slopes in the Cascades, also for the Olympics, considerable across the map. That's for today, and then for tomorrow, the forecast, in essence, staying exactly the same. What is considerable avalanche danger? Well, it means that natural avalanches are possible. Human-triggered avalanches are likely. We've already seen a handful over the past 24 hours, so the size and distribution can kind of vary, but the travel advice, you have to evaluate the snowpack very carefully. The route finding has to be very cautious. The decision-making has to be very conservative. Okay. God forbid that you're caught in an avalanche, but here's what to do during an avalanche. Try to escape, grab something solid, protect your airway, swim to stay on top. So that's if the avalanche is coming towards you. If you're buried by an avalanche, create an air pocket, stay calm, conserve air, signal if possible, and wait for rescuers, as premature digging can cause collapse of the snow. So again, God forbid you ever have to use any of that advice, but it is something that needs to be top of mind today if you venture out into the backcountry. All right, also tracking additional snow in the forecast. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. Okay, now turning to a consumer report. This, as some of the biggest tax changes in years, could hit your federal return right now. From untaxed tips and overtime to a new incentive for new car buyers to a bigger child tax credit. This morning, Consumer Reports breaks down what it means for you and what to do if you end up owning Uncle Sam.
Let's start with the changes tied to the One Big Beautiful Bill. First, no federal taxes on tips, which actually means you may be able to take a federal deduction on reported tip income up to $25,000.
And there's going to be a lot of taxpayers, particularly in the service industries, that are going to qualify for this deduction. If you make a certain amount, then that deduction starts to reduce until it does completely phase out.
It's the same school of thought for the new no tax on overtime deduction. You might be able to deduct up to $12,500. Attention seniors, 65 and up. If you file a return, you might qualify for an additional $6,000 deduction. There are income limits. It phases out if you make more than $75,000. To keep up with inflation, the child tax credit has increased to $2,200 per child. If you financed a new car for personal use last year, you might be able to deduct interest up to $10,000. Here's the deal. The final assembly had to have taken place in America.
So this is a deduction that's meant to stimulate purchasing of vehicles that are made in the USA. And taxpayers are going to have to provide the vehicle identification number, and this loan needs to originate with the purchaser of the vehicle.
Owe the IRS and short on cash? Here's the important part. File by April 15th. Pay what you can. Then choose an option for the balance, either a credit card or an IRS payment plan, known as an installment agreement.
Now, there is a fee to take advantage of this process, and it does not make the interest go away.
Bottom line, Consumer Report says the key is knowing which changes apply to you. Check your withholdings, keep good records, and if you owe, file on time and set up a payment option that fits your budget. This is Ashley Prieto.
Also new this year, more transparency when it comes to basic math errors. So if you goofed on your return, the IRS notice now must spell it out and explain exactly what's wrong. You'll then have 60 days to challenge it. All right, up next on Good Morning Northwest, I'll be back to take a look at that full First Alert weather forecast. We have snow for the mountains. We have pretty nice weather on the way for lower elevations if you look past the next couple days. So we'll talk about that coming up on the other side of the break.
More Furniture Sleep Savings Event, designed to help you sleep better with comfort, style, and value. The Jamestown panel bed at $399. The Malibu panel bed at $399. And Lily mattresses up to 50% off. And the lowest sofa at $399. Enjoy 72 months, no interest financing on mattresses, and our free white glove delivery, where every detail is handled with care. Visit a More Furniture store near you and experience the difference. Or visit us online at morefurniture.com.
The White Card, a powerful resource for former Hanford and DOE employees. If you worked in the area and have come down with cancer, lung disease, Parkinson's, or renal failure, you may be eligible for financial compensation and healthcare services. A simple phone call can get the process started. Atomic Home Health. Don't wait. Call today.
In a world where people may miss a warning signal from their body, one woman. Hello? Okay, two women are spreading the word.
People with high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes. Like my mom and you, Chica. Our kidneys could be sending out an SOS about increased risk like heart attack or stroke. Don't miss the signal. Ask your doctor about a simple urine test called UACR and join our mission.
I just got my permit!
Welcome to Nob Hill Casino, your premier gaming destination. Experience the thrill of a Vegas-style casino featuring the friendliest dealers in town. Join our Players Club and unlock exclusive rewards every time you play. Challenge your skills at our 16-lane bowling alley. Unwind with a drink at our cozy bar or enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Last Frontier. The ultimate entertainment experience has something for everyone. Nob Hill Casino, where locals come to win.
For 50 years, Shelby's Floral has been your homegrown neighbor, bringing joy and beauty to every occasion.
We're more than just a flower shop and specialize in beautiful custom arrangements, live plants, silk florals, and home decor. Our experienced designers are here to help you with all your floral needs, ensuring that every bouquet is as special as the moment it celebrates. Visit us today on Clearwater in Kennewick. We're part of your community and can't wait to help you celebrate life's moments. Shelby's Floral.
Culligan helps you take control of your home's water with the world's most efficient softeners and drinking water systems. Culligan also gives you more control of your wallet with a variety of payment options. For better water and finances that fit, contact your local Inland Northwest Water expert today.
Judy Justice.
And I'm just getting started.
Today at 4 on Apple Valley News Now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. It is a first alert weather day because of the snowfall that we'll see up in the mountains over the next handful of days. But lower elevations could see some snow mixing in, mainly for the valleys and foothills. So this half hour, we're going to talk about the foothills. The next half hour, we'll end up talking about the valleys. Okay, for today, for the Blue Foothills, specifically for Pendleton, you see rain chances really ramp up around and after 4 p.m. For tomorrow, could have some snow mixing in, I'd say from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then trending a little bit drier and a little bit warmer after that. And then Wednesday is going to be much drier. And of course, if you want to see day by day, hour by hour precip chances just like that, you can do exactly that by downloading the Apple Valley News Now First Alert Weather app free in the App Store or on Google Play. Okay, we do have a first alert weather day over the next handful of days, like I said, because of the snowfall that we're expecting up in the mountains, around a foot of snow. So let's put this into motion with Futurecast radar. And as we do just that, 8 a.m., looking pretty wet across the map. Lunchtime, maybe a little bit drier for the valleys, but then that next blast of moisture, it's just going to be at this point, wire-to-wire rainfall and snowfall up in the mountains at 5 p.m. Then at midnight, still snow going strong for the Cascades. 5 a.m. is kind of looking the same. Now trending a little bit drier for the Cascades by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, getting a lull in the action by lunchtime for tomorrow, but then perhaps some more showers popping up, and we'll have some more active weather to deal with as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. But lower elevations looking much drier for Wednesday and beyond. Here's some of the snowfall totals we're banking on from this morning through 4 p.m. on Thursday. Around a foot of snow for all of our biggest mountain passes. So if you have to travel over the mountains, especially for Oregon 204, U.S. Highway 2, U.S. Highway 12, Interstate 90, just have the tire chains, have the winter safety kit ready to go. Now there's this next round of snow from 4 p.m. on Thursday to 4 a.m. on Saturday. Models are saying a bunch of different interesting things about this round, but we could have up to, I'd say, around a half a foot of snow for Snoqualmie Pass. But it definitely looks like round number one is going to be the more intense round. And like I said, for lower elevations for Wednesday and beyond, we'll have this area of high pressure. You can see some of that clearing in the cloud base there, but that is going to start to take over for lower elevations Wednesday and beyond. So we'll keep it dry, mostly sunny. Temperatures not half bad either. Here's a 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. Rain likely Monday and Tuesday. Beautiful weather Wednesday and beyond. In Yakima, maybe a little snow mixing in tomorrow, but it doesn't look like much will stick. In Ellensburg, a wintry mix possible over the next couple days, but accumulation potential will be limited. And then for Hermiston, rain likely today and tomorrow, then a little fall spring Wednesday through Sunday. And finally, for Walla Walla, wet weather Monday and Tuesday, maybe a leftover shower for Wednesday, and a low chance of a wintry mix on Friday. And coming up on Good Morning Northwest, Hollywood's box office had a mixed weekend with some films struggling to keep audiences and others dominating the ticket sales. This morning, we're breaking down which movies fell, which surprised, and who's ruling the box office right now. It's all coming up in your entertainment headlines after the break.
At Smoke City for Less, we understand every smoker is unique. Explore our over 1,500 vape flavors and specialty curated selection of tobacco products. Your perfect flavor and blend awaits at any of Smoke City for Less 6 locations. Save your pennies. Smoke City for Less has the lowest prices. Find the best vape mods, batteries, kratom, and specialty products too. Our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to provide personalized recommendations. Smoke City for Less. We smoke the competition.
Injured in a car crash? The insurance company can sure make you feel small.
and the offer makes you feel even smaller. Call me, attorney Mariano Morales. When you choose the heavy hitter, you get big help and big results. Is that insurance company making you feel small? Tell them you got the heavy hitter and watch how big you feel. Injured in a car wreck? Big thanks. Get big help. Call me.
The heavy hitter is the one for you. Call 853-2222.
Brace your taste buds. Don't miss out on the new DQ $6.99 Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket. A spicy, bold heat, served with a side of our cool, sweet DQ soft serve as a dip. All for just $6.99. Plus, try a sweet, spicy sip of lemonade made with tahini. It's the new Swisey menu for a limited time, only at DQ.
Before you head for the slopes, catch the Apple Valley News Now Northwest Ski Report. It's on air during weather, online at applevalleyNewsNow.com, or on our mobile app. The Northwest Ski Report from Apple Valley News Now, sponsored by Schweitzer in Sandpoint, Idaho.
Check it out.
It's a great time to improve your sleep and pay less during the President's Day mattress event at Walker's. Enjoy the best selection of all your favorite mattress brands. And when you purchase select Serta, Beautyrest, or Heirloom mattresses, you'll get up to $300 of free furniture and free mattress delivery. Plus, enjoy 5 years no-interest financing, making it the perfect time to improve your sleep for less. This week at all Walker's Furniture locations.
Apple Valley News Now's Young Hearts thanks Shelby's Floral and Hapo Community Credit Union for supporting Bikes for Tykes. If you know a child who needs a bike but can't afford one, click Bikes for Tykes on our website. From Shelby's Floral, Hapo Community Credit Union, and Apple Valley News Now. Seattle Kraken Hockey, sponsored by Legends Casino Hotel.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. In your entertainment headlines this morning, the weekend saw round 2 of a box office battle between an iconic drama and an animated sports film. And a different outcome than last weekend. So this morning, David Daniel has the early estimates for the top 5 films in theaters.
I'm a much nicer boss than you ever would have been. Except for maybe this part.
Send Help fell to 5th place in its 4th weekend, scratching out $4.5 million.
Those high-value items your company insures, I occasionally make them disappear, and no one gets hurt.
In 4th place, Crime 101 made off with another $5.8 million.
I just want to write something that helps people through the pain we all go through.
I Can Only Imagine 2 debuted in 3rd place, bringing in $8 million.
Where is the obstacle?
Wuthering Heights wobbled in its 2nd weekend, falling to 2nd place with $14.2 million.
There's only one problem. I'm a small in a world of bigs.
Goat came up big in its sophomore weekend, grossing $17 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, still ahead on Good Morning Northwest, Pasco is planning for growth as state rules push cities to expand housing options. Coming up, we'll see what city leaders are considering and how it could impact neighborhoods. Plus, from emergency shelters to legal help and thrift stores, support can look different for every survivor. This morning, we're exploring the services making a real impact for families facing domestic abuse across the Tri-Cities. These stories and more just ahead. First, here are your Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Samsung's next big debut is just days away. The first Galaxy Unpacked event is Wednesday, which will mark the unveiling of the Galaxy S26 series. One leak includes the private display, which allows you to hide some of the screen from people nearby. Next, iPods appearing to have a revival. The iPod hashtag on Instagram points to nearly 2 million posts, and YouTube has tons of videos about reviving and upgrading iPods. The comeback is seen as both nostalgic and as Gen Z's reaction to feeling overwhelmed by life online. And finally, Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda turned 40 over the weekend. It debuted in Japan in 1986 and didn't come to the US until the following year. Since then, Zelda has grown into one of Nintendo's most successful franchises with 21 main titles and several spin-offs. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Hannah Battah. Have a great day.
Airwick's Essential Mist Diffuser is conveniently cordless and portable for the type of person who's always inviting friends to. With adjustable fragrance levels and a wide range of scents, Airwick Essential Mist creates an inviting ambiance every time you host. Airwick, always fragrant, always inviting.
Lily doesn't play like she's 62. She plays like you owe her something. And with Ensure Max Protein, she always collects.
Told you she still plays.
You're in your prime, so keep it that way. Insure yourself.
Meet my better half. National University supports all her aunts. With personalized attention, she can be a student and a role model. She's an Ander. National University, supporting all your aunts.
This is Apple Valley News Now. Good morning, Northwest. On your side.
Good Monday morning. I'm First Alert Chief Meteorologist Josh Colbert. Let's go ahead and first get into those big weather stories. So we do have a First Alert weather day for today, and that's going to run through 4 p.m. on Thursday, as we could have around a foot of snow, maybe a little bit more for our mountain passes. Considerable avalanche danger for our Olympic and our Cascade slopes for the next couple days at least. But hey, lower elevations getting that little taste of fall spring for Wednesday and beyond. Okay, let's take a current look at temperatures out there. 30s and 40s for lower elevations. We're exclusively in the 30s for the Cascades, and then 30s and 40s up in the Blues. First Alert radar showing you some pretty steady snowfall for the Cascades right now. Just some light rain that's pushing its way through the Tri-Cities and Hermiston, and if that holds together, that's going to impact the Blue Foothills here pretty shortly. Here's your umbrella cast for this Monday for the Yakima Valley. I'd say about 50-50 rain chances throughout most of the day. They will ramp up just a little bit as we head into the afternoon and especially into the evening. So for this Monday, highs getting into the 40s and 50s. It's going to be gray. It's going to be gloomy. Hey, rainy days and Mondays. Am I right? And it will be a little bit breezy across the map. We could see gusts anywhere between 20 to 30 miles per hour. Okay, we'll have more to say about the considerable avalanche danger over the next couple days and also the snowfall up in the mountains. All that coming up a little bit later in the show. All right, beginning this half hour in news, where we turn to Pasco, where city leaders are taking a closer look at how the city will handle future growth as state requirements push communities to plan for more housing options. City planners say Pasco is expected to keep growing over the next 2 decades, and the state requires the city to show it has enough zoning capacity for thousands of additional housing units. Officials say that doesn't mean those homes have to be built right away, but the city does need to make sure zoning allows for them if development happens. As part of that process, planners say Pasco has identified a shortage of apartment-style housing, especially for lower-income residents. City leaders are now reviewing where that housing could go by studying vacant land, underused parcels, and areas where multifamily housing is already allowed. Officials say the goal is to add housing options while balancing neighborhood concerns.
Not suggesting that we're putting apartments in Riverview or existing single-family residential neighborhoods.
City staff say several options are still being discussed, including increasing density in areas already zoned for multifamily housing and making updates through the city's long-term comprehensive plan. And in Kennewick, one local nonprofit is helping support survivors of domestic violence and raise awareness about the many forms it can take. Apple Valley News Now's William Albert spoke with officials at Domestic Violence Services of Benton and Franklin counties about how they help survivors in our community.
Domestic Violence Services of Benton and Franklin counties is a nonprofit serving communities across the Tri-Cities. The organization has been helping survivors for more than 20 years, offering advocacy and support services for individuals and families experiencing domestic violence. Officials say the organization is client-driven, meaning services are built around what each person needs as they work to leave difficult or unsafe situations.
We have an emergency shelter. We have services in the area that help with legal advocacy, housing, prevention, youth prevention programs.
De La Mora says many clients come to the organization after losing housing or while going through legal protections related to domestic violence, which is why the nonprofit also runs a thrift store in Kennewick on Clearwater that helps provide clothing and household items to families rebuilding their lives. And she says that many of her clients often aren't victims of physical domestic violence.
There's emotional, there's financial, and there's just the whole dynamic of power and control, how that person can have that power and control over the other person.
De La Mora says leaving a domestic violence situation can be extremely difficult, especially when children are involved, and advocates work closely with survivors to help them navigate those challenges safely.
Oh no, you can get away, but it's easier said than done, especially when there's children involved. The abuse can get as severe as getting abducted and severely physically, damaged.
Officials with domestic violence services tell me that while each individual case of domestic violence is different and unique, there often can be many misconceptions about domestic violence and how it's perceived.
We do get more of a higher number in female cases versus the men cases. And some have been as severe as the women's cases, where they will check their phones, they will track them, they will keep an eye on who they hang out with, if they are going to work, if they are coming home with a full paycheck.
De La Mora says one of the most important parts of helping survivors is creating a plan that fits their situation and timeline.
We ask them questions, and we set up a safety plan with them when they do call us. So that works best for both, so we can either safely help remove, and if they're ready to go, we can safely try to and do that. Or if they feel like it is not the time, we can set up the safety plan for when they think is a good time for them to flee.
Officials say Domestic Violence Services of Benton and Franklin counties is focused on providing a path forward for people seeking safety and stability. In Kennewick, William Albert, Apple Valley News Now.
And officials say outreach efforts are designed to help people recognize warning signs and know where to turn for support. All right, coming up on Good Morning Northwest, Tri-Cities teen with a name built for speed is taking his talent to the world stage. Coming up, we'll see how the young BMX racer made his way onto Team USA and the hard work powering his ride toward a world championship. Talking sports after the break.
E.T. and Extra, tonight at 7 on Apple Valley News Now.
Extra, extra. We're going to take the worst person in the world back to prison.
Oscar Hutchinson.
Mayday, we're going down. I repeat, we are going down.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America's asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all.
Get 1.9% financing on all 2026 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $6,350 total value on this Silverado. Plus $1,000 trade assistance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Thinking about an RV show? Skip it and save some dough. At Broadmoor RV, you get real people, real prices, real service with the same great deals, no show required. Skip the crowds, skip the hidden fees, skip the show, and save some dough at Broadmoor RV, where we make camping fun.
From Royal Ranch to Legends, every cut of beef we serve begins right here in Washington, on a family farm committed to caring for the land and the people it feeds. Born, raised, and harvested with integrity. Royal Ranch beef is all natural and pasture raised. Enjoy flame broiled steaks and succulent prime rib, hand prepared by our trained culinary professionals. Proudly served at Legends Casino Hotel, where local flavor meets legendary taste.
Bathfitter does showers? That's right. We offer a wide selection of beautiful and functional showers in all shapes and sizes. We can even convert your bath into a shower. How about that? With our seamless one-piece walls and hundreds of design options, you'll get a beautiful new shower to fit your needs, guaranteed for life. Bathfitter's been around for 40 years, and we've been experts at showers for just as long. Get yours today. Bathfitter, it just fits. Go to bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
It's Heart Health Awareness Month. Symptoms of heart problems could include indigestion, heartburn, or extreme fatigue. More at applevalleyNewsNow.com.
Heart Healthy Month, sponsored by Prosser Memorial Health. This is how we care. Apple Valley News Now's Young Hearts thanks Shelby's Floral and Hapo Community Credit Union for supporting Bikes for Tykes. If you know a child who needs a bike but can't afford one, click Bikes for Tykes on our website. From Shelby's Floral, Hapo Community Credit Union, and Apple Valley News Now.
We're going to take the worst person in the world back to prison.
Oscar Hutchinson.
Mayday, we're going down. I repeat, we are going down.
All right, welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. It is a first alert weather day because of the snow we're expecting up in the mountains over the next week. So let's go ahead and take a look at current road conditions where it is snowy and slushy for Cascade passes. Traction tires are required for White Pass for this morning. Our Blue Mountain Pass is not looking half bad. Okay, I wanted to touch on this again very quickly. Considerable avalanche danger for all of our slopes for both today and for tomorrow. This data coming courtesy of the Northwest Avalanche Center. And so coming up in the next half hour, we'll once again talk about some of those safety tips. But hopefully you don't have to use them, as I would highly recommend staying out of the backcountry for today. All right, let's take you on that zone-by-zone tour of today's forecast. We start off in the Cascades, snow looking likely. High temperature is going to be in the 30s. Wind gusts across the map anywhere between, I'd say, 20 to 30 miles per hour. And the Kittitas Valley going to end up around 40 degrees. Could see some snow mixing in for today. Accumulation is not going to be significant. And then for the Yakima Valley, just keeping it as rainfall for today. Highs in the upper 40s. For the lower Columbia Basin, right around 50 degrees. Rain likely. Rain also going to be likely for the Blue Foothills, low to mid 50s. And then for the Blue Mountains, rain and snow likely. High temperature is going to run the gamut from the 30s all the way to the low 50s. Okay, and then for tonight, overnight lows dropping down into the 20s and 30s. Just kind of depends on your microclimate, but lower elevations mostly going to be in the 30s. High temperatures hovering right around normal over the next 7 days. Of course, there's going to be some ebbs, there's going to be some flows, and those overnight lows trending colder once again as we head into the weekend, dropping down into the upper 20s in the lower Columbia Basin. But we'll have a lot more to say about the snow for our mountain passes over the next week coming up in a few minutes. All right, turning to sports now, where a 14-year-old BMX racer from Kennewick will represent Team USA in the World BMX Championships. This morning, Apple Valley News Now's Jake Gable highlights the teen born for speed.
Meet 14-year-old BMX racer Laser Turbo Rude. With a name like that, it would only make sense he would find success racing. About 4 years ago, Laser started to race competitively.
It was one thing one day when he just said, "Mom, I found my people, I found my passion." It was like, oh, okay, I'm here to support you in anything you want to do.
With a bedroom filled with trophies, Laser has won races across North America. But his latest achievement will take him even further than he's ever been. Laser will represent Team USA at the BMX Championships in Australia in July.
This will be a first for me, especially for only racing 6 years. A lot of the riders have been racing since they were 1 or 2, so I've been really training hard to get to that place of making worlds.
Training can last up to 40 hours a week, and staying mentally ready is just as important as being physically fit.
You really want to have a positive mindset. If you're going to say that you're going to crash, you're definitely going to crash. And you really want to say that a big goal that you want to accomplish, like mainly for me, it's getting first and having fun.
Laser's family are his biggest supporters. They're proud of how far he has come and aren't shocked at him making Team USA.
I gotta say it was kind of surreal. It seems like such a big, huge thing, but at the same time, it's a very natural progression for him.
Laser continues to compete and train hard before he starts practicing with Team USA this summer. In Kennewick, Jake Gable, Apple Valley News Now.
And in July, Laser and the rest of Team USA will compete at the BMX World Championship in Brisbane, Australia. It's the first time Australia has hosted the event since 2009, with more than 20,000 spectators expected over 9 days of racing. All right, coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, we've got your morning sprint, everything you need to know before you head out the door this morning. And I'll be back with your full First Alert forecast. We have First Alert weather days over the next handful of days because of snow up in the mountains. We'll talk about it all coming up on the other side of the break.
Community outcry escalates over a Kennewick sex offender facility.
I was just flabbergasted that this is something that's happening in a neighborhood that has so many children.
How was this even possible?
There is a school right around the corner. There are children living literally next door.
It really speaks volumes on the lack of safety concerns that they have for our community.
Digging deeper, asking tough questions. Only one station, Apple Valley News Now, on your side.
When Dickerson's wanted to sell more pianos, they chose Apple Valley News Now for their marketing partner.
I heard about Apple Valley through my friend Lydia. I was looking to be able to reach out to more than what we already had. When I first started working here, we were doing radio, and we have done other companies here locally. From my own experience, this has been the best. I totally recommend Apple Valley for your advertising needs.
Call Apple Valley News Now for online and on-air advertising that works.
The President's Day sale has been extended one more week at all Walker's Furniture and Mattress stores. And for a limited time, we're doubling your sales tax discount. It's the perfect time to refresh your space and save big so you can make the most of your tax refund and find a deal you'll love. Or with no money down, no interest financing until 2031, you can get that new theater sofa, dining set, or bedroom set and pay over time. This final week at Walker's.
Board-certified orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine specialist, Dr. Tegan Goodell, is now caring for patients in Prosser and Walla Walla. Dr. Goodell provides advanced care in orthopedic surgery and sports medicine injuries, including surgery of the shoulder, elbow, knee, and ankle. Get back to doing what you love. Call Prosser Orthopedic Center at 509-786-5599 or visit prosserhealth.org. Prosser Memorial Health. This is how we care.
Rodney Carrington.
If you've been married for 25 or 30 years, you got there because you learned how to keep your mouth shut in all the right spots. That's right.
Friday, June 26th at Legends Casino Hotel. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com or at Legends Gift Shop.
Some things didn't work out like you thought they would. You ain't never been on no fancy Italian vacation, but damn it, you been to Olive Garden for free breadsticks.
Don't miss Rodney Carrington live.
Judy Justice, today at 4 on Apple Valley News Now.
All right, welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. It is indeed a First Alert weather day, so let's go ahead and step you why. It's because we have snow up in the mountains. We'll actually have a good deal of it over the next handful of days, but lower elevations could also see a little bit of snow, specifically for the valleys and the foothills. Here are the precip chances for today for the Yakima Valley. Chances of snow mixing in around and after 8 p.m. and that could last through 10 a.m. for tomorrow. Pretty decent chances of that as well. And then by the time we get to Wednesday in the Yakima Valley, maybe a low-end chance of freezing rain right around midnight, but Wednesday is looking substantially drier. Of course, you can see day by day, hour by hour precip chances for your exact home address by downloading the Apple Valley News Now First Alert weather app free in the App Store or on Google Play. Okay, now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this forecast as the First Alert weather day is in place through 4 p.m. on Thursday, as we could have up to a foot of snow for our mountain passes in both the Cascades and the Blues. We'll put this into motion with Futurecast, and this is why we recommend downloading the Apple Valley News Now First Alert weather app, because sometimes this stuff just really looks like splatter paint on the screen. But you see steady snowfall up in the Cascades, trending a little bit drier for Tuesday, getting a lull in the action, but we definitely have more active weather slated into Tuesday evening and then also into Wednesday and Thursday. But for lower elevations, Wednesday and beyond, it's looking fairly pleasant out there, maybe even getting a little bit of that fall spring. All right, the snowfall totals through 4 p.m. on Thursday. Our highest passes: Oregon 204, US 2, US 12, Interstate 90, getting all around a foot of snow. which is good for the snowpack, but it's bad news for past travel. So have the winter safety kit, have the tire chains ready to go. There's another round of snow that is looking, well, it's more up in the air. Let's just put it that way. For our Cascade passes, maybe around a half foot of snow. But those are preliminary numbers subject to change. And like I said, lower elevations, the weather is going to be fantastic Wednesday and beyond as we have an area of high pressure that's going to start to take over. What does that mean? Well, for us, it just means that it's going to be dry and again, mostly sunny Wednesday and beyond. You see no chances of precip in the Yakima Valley. All right, here's a 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. Rain likely Monday and Tuesday, beautiful weather Wednesday and beyond. In Yakima, maybe a little snow mixing in tomorrow, but it doesn't look like much will stick. And then for Ellensburg, a wintry mix possible over the next couple days, but accumulation potential will likely be limited. In Hermiston, rain likely today and tomorrow, then a little fall spring Wednesday through Sunday. And finally for Walla Walla, wet weather Monday and Tuesday, maybe a leftover shower for Wednesday, then a low-end chance of a wintry mix on Friday.
Now, the morning sprint.
All right, let's flip over to news. It's time for your morning sprint, this 5 a.m. hour, and here's the top 5 local things you need to know this morning as you're headed out the door. Kennewick residents are continuing to ask questions about a residence for level 3 registered sex offenders set to open in a residential neighborhood. Councilman John Trumbo previously told the council he learned about the home in an executive session. He's now clarifying that he first heard about it during a small December meeting with the city manager and former mayor, not an executive session. Trumbo says he doesn't remember if anyone else attended, and he wants to share answers the city received from the state. An informational workshop about the home is also being considered to keep residents informed. The Grant County Sheriff's Office has released dash cam video of a deadly shooting near Moses Lake. Deputies say they responded last Monday to Road L9 Northeast, just outside the city, after learning a man connected to an ongoing investigation was at the property. The man, 33-year-old Aaron J. Aman, was located inside a small barn. In the video, he emerges holding what appears to be a long object as officers shout commands. Investigators say a man pointed a rifle at deputies. 5 Grant County deputies fired their weapons, and he died at the scene. No Moses Lake police officers fired. The shooting is now under review by the Central Basin Investigative Team and the Ellensburg Police. Pasco is expected to keep growing over the next 20 years. State requirements mean the city must show enough zoning for thousands of new housing units. City leaders say the homes don't have to be built immediately, but zoning must allow for development. Officials are reviewing vacant land, underused parcels, and existing multifamily zones. The goal? More housing options while keeping neighborhoods balanced. Ben Franklin Transit is deploying contracted security officers starting today. The move is meant to keep both riders and drivers safe. Officers are trained in de-escalation and will be present at transit centers and on buses. Officials say drivers have faced threats, assaults, and harassment for years. BFT says the security is not law enforcement. It's there to protect people and prevent problems. And construction begins today at Steptoe and Taptil in Richland. The project includes realigning Taptil Drive, adding a new intersection leg, upgrading pedestrian facilities, and installing a new traffic signal. The west end of Taptil will be temporarily closed with detours via Center Parkway or Columbia Center Boulevard, and traffic shifts are expected to last up to 2 months, with completion targeted for August. In your national headlines this morning, the leader of the powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel known as El Mencho was killed Sunday. He was killed during an operation led by Mexico's military. A former police officer led one of the most powerful and ruthless criminal organizations in Mexico, and according to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, he was wanted by U.S. authorities who offered millions for information on his whereabouts. Authorities have yet to release details about the operation leading to his death. All right, in your business headlines this morning, leaders in Washington and around the world are reacting to President Donald Trump's Saturday announcement that he's raising global tariffs to 15%. That's up from the 10% he imposed just a day earlier. The back-to-back tariff announcements came after the Supreme Court ruled Friday that the sweeping emergency tariffs Trump imposed last year are illegal. But the High Court's ruling only applies to the duties Trump imposed using one specific law, and the president immediately responded by saying he will now rely on other legal authorities to keep tariffs in place. The law Trump is relying on for his new 15% global tariffs requires that Congress approve the duties within 150 days for them to remain in effect. As for the tens of billions of dollars U.S. companies paid after Trump raised tariffs last year, Democrats are demanding that money be refunded. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the High Court didn't address refunds, but according to Bessent, it could be weeks or months before that court rules. Right, in your health headlines this morning, the Department of Veterans Affairs has walked back a so-called interim rule pertaining to disabled veterans. The proposed rule would have determined how much a veteran would receive on their monthly disability payments. It would have calculated a veteran's disability level by how well they function on current medication for an injury or illness, not based on the impairment alone. The VA said that analysis would have been taken into account when awarding benefits, but the rule sparked blowback from veterans across the country, fearing a reduction in payments. And on Thursday, the VA halted its enforcement of the rule. Sports headlines this morning. In a dramatic thriller, Team USA has taken the men's hockey gold medal. Jack Hughes scored the winning goal in overtime for a 2-1 victory over Canada. The win gives USA its first gold medal since the Miracle on the Ice in 1980 at Lake Placid. For Canada, it's their first silver medal since 1994 at Lillehammer. After the big win, Hughes said, quote, "It's unbelievable. The USA Hockey Brotherhood is so strong. We had so much support from ex-players. I'm so proud to be American today." During celebrations, Team USA brought late team member Johnny Gaudreau's children down to the ice for a team photo. Gaudreau and his brother were hit and killed by a drunk driver in 2024 while cycling in New Jersey. The Gaudreau family was in attendance for Team USA's monumental win. USA. Right, trending this morning, a group of Arkansas friends has gone to new heights, literally, to get their friend a date. Let's take a look. Victor Magana has been single for 5 years and hasn't had any luck on the dating apps. So his friends rented this billboard along Interstate 40 in Maumelle and put Magana's dating profile on it. Magana says he's grateful for his friends and adds they probably got tired of him being single. His friends have the billboard for a year and will take down the billboard if he meets someone. And until then, they'll wait to see if true love drives by and happens to be looking up. Man, I need some better wingmen in my life. Okay, coming up next on Good Morning Northwest at 6, Steptoe and Taptoe is getting a major upgrade with detours in place for months. Coming up, what drivers need to know to navigate the area and how the project will impact traffic in nearby business. Plus, giant tortoises are back in the wild after being gone for more than 100 years. At 6, we'll break down how these slow-moving giants are helping nature heal itself. And also, we'll talk about, we have first alert weather days in place for snow. Also, there's considerable avalanche danger in our mountains over the next couple days. We'll talk about all that coming up on Good Morning Northwest at 6.